Then Bud puts it on YouTube. Oh, now we're back to live, are we?
Yeah, you're
All
on,
right.
Toll.
All right. Well, before we get started again, we want to go over the people that help pay the bills, Bud. We got My Race Pass. Like I say always, if you don't have them, you need to get them. They cover, I don't know how much of the percentage of the races there are in the nation, but they cover a lot of them.
Yep.
And then we got S2F, which is start to finish, another streaming service.
Which starts this weekend, and we just found out it's micros.
Yep.
So
600 micros. They got Power Eye and a bunch of other tracks that they follow, just like the rest of the series do. Then we got Mount Tabor Cabinetry out in Central PA. If you need cabinet work done, give Fizzle a call, Chris Fizzle. Morning Sun Marketplace, great big flea market, food, all sorts. I mean, the stuff where you go buy things you think you need, but maybe you don't. I don't know. It's one of them things that are fun to go to. And then we got Turn 2 Lodge down in Knoxville, right outside of Turn 2. Place to stay. Can walk to the track. And of course, Fulkins Brothers Trucking, being Steve takes his places, and they've sponsored us in the past. And then Hero Haven, of course.
absolutely. Good job, Toll.
Hey, I got it written down. I tell you, I write it down so I can't screw it up.
Now we're going to start the podcast. Here we go. Hey, we're back at Hoagie's Garage, and who do we have on tonight?
Chase Raudman.
I threw a quick one at you.
Yeah, when you started talking, I wasn't ready.
How you doing, Chase?
I'm doing great, guys. It's good to be back on. I can't remember the last time, but it's definitely been a while, so great to be back.
You
Well,
bet.
probably about this time last year. Maybe somewhere. We talked to you once last year, I know.
Was it last year or 2 years ago?
No, because he was going to be the announcer.
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago? I thought it was.
I don't know. I lost his number there for a while.
Well, yeah, that's the way you
So,
roll.
Then we had to find it back. So I don't even know how I found it back. But
I probably asked it for him.
how would you say the year went, Chase? One, give us your aspect from being an announcer, and then after that, kind of give us a rundown of how you thought the high limit went.
Yeah, from my side of things, I thought it went okay. You know, it was a big learning curve right off the bat there, and it took probably, I don't know, 10 races probably to really start to get into a rhythm and start to figure out, you know, what exactly is what to expect and kind of get everything nailed down. You know, I heard you guys mention there that you don't forget things when you're writing down, and that was kind of what I was doing, man. I was writing everything down and making sure that, looking at my papers and, you know, just making sure I didn't miss anything because there's so many different sponsors and different things you got to remember, the rule book, and I still haven't remembered everything, but I mean, it's just a lot going on. So yeah, I think it went pretty well. Not, you know, not up to where I want to be at. You know, I know it was year one, so still a lot of improving and learning to do. And we've been kind of, you know, putting some work here in the off season, trying to get prepared for this season. But I thought it went well. I think people were pretty entertained by myself and Tony. You know, we had a good back and forth going on for the broadcast, and people seemed to enjoy that. So that was good. And then for high limit, man, I think it went better than anybody really expected. And it seemed like there for, you know, maybe after about the first quarter of the season, I mean, maybe even before that, but it just seemed like we had a lot of momentum. It seemed like almost every race was, you know, there was something cool happening, or it was a good battle, or, you know, big money show, or something. I feel like it really exceeded everybody's expectations, not just like the fans and everybody like that, but I mean, even like, you know, Brad, Kyle, Flo, I think everybody was extremely impressed with how everything went.
Jeez, Bud.
Such a good schedule and everything. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty big success all around, and we'll try and do better this year.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it went well for you. I mean, like you said, with Tony, you had a good. It seemed like you guys meshed together really well right away, which, you know, obviously got to make it easier for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tony used to work for the Outlaws too, so, you know, we worked together over there. But you know, this year or last year, I guess it'd be, you know, that was my first year really traveling with him up and down the road. We didn't ride in the same car or anything like that with the Outlaws, but yeah, you know, it was just mostly it was just us two making fun of each other the whole time, you know, and people like that when you're dogging on somebody or whatever and making fun of them, and you know, he'd make fun of me, I make fun of him, and it made for some decent television every now and again. So yeah, it was pretty fun. You know, I haven't really experienced that with somebody on a broadcast before, where it's two guys that not only are they know when to take it seriously, but also know how to have fun at the same time, and during downtime or whatever.
Yep.
It was definitely good.
Well, it's down to earth, like most of us. I mean, me and Bud, people pretty much figure out we give each other crap pretty steady on this thing, and and that it's two normal guys just broadcasting a race.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it almost was, from what a couple people were saying, was like, almost like we were sitting there in your backyard, with the barbecue going, sitting next to you talking about the race, so, I think that's kind of cool, it's a different, viewing experience than I would say maybe with the Outlaws, so, and obviously that's important because we don't want to be like the Outlaws, we want to be different, we want to be unique, and so I think we were able to accomplish that.
So, the first comment I have about something you said was, knowing the rules and everything else. Not that we want to mention the World of Outlaws on here, but I always think, I shouldn't say just me. A lot of times we're sitting here watching the races and Johnny just rattles something off. He gets this because of this, and we're like, what in the world? So I actually went and printed off the rule for the World of Outlaws. It was like 140 pages. I mean, trust me, nobody read it, but I didn't know it was going to be that big. But knowing the rules is not an easy thing.
No, and I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you, man. I probably know like 3 pages out of the whole thing. But, for me, like, the important stuff is, the restarts and the cone and, I don't need to know every single rule, like what bolt you can have in the fuel cell and, stuff like that. Like, it's not like pertinent information to people watching at home. So I don't know every single rule, and I'm not going to pretend like I do, but, there was definitely quite a few times last year where something would happen, and then, I would be told off mic by either, Mike Hess or our scoring guy, hey, you probably should mention this, or people are going to be confused why this guy's in this spot and this and that, right? So I was learning as I was going, and I still, I think we're having a few rule changes this year. I'm not sure if they've been announced yet or not, but they're definitely going to be coming into play for, every single night of racing. There's going to be, at least one of these rule changes that I remember is going to be, very important for the heat races. So I don't think that's been announced yet, but yeah, it's just things that, the fans need to know when certain situations happen. I feel like it's definitely important to remind them and try and break it down to not a bunch of technical jargon. Try and keep it, relatively simple so they understand it.
And if you're not sure of it, you're best off not saying anything. Because people get all crabby. Well, Chase said this, and then they did this, and so.
That happened at least twice last year. Yeah, when I said something and it was different, I just didn't even, If you're one man, and I just, you knew there was going to be mistakes here and there all around me. The series, whatever. There was going to be mistakes, and we obviously had quite a few of them, but. Hopefully you clean them up and not have them as often. But yeah, there was a few times where I said something and it wasn't even close. So
well, we missed it, so you're good with us. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm still waiting for the first series that gets a RC car on their cone like they had over in Australia.
Yeah, that was a really good idea, man.
I like that.
I'm hoping that we put something together like that because that cone was like the most famous. Thing
Coney or whatever they called it, but
yeah, they had T-shirts with him on it, and people just love that thing. And so maybe someday we'll get that.
I think we need to get one in the U.S. for some series. I don't care who does it, but
well, we got a cone in Rock Rapids. I shouldn't have. Well, Tyler has all these freaking RC cars. They're even gas ones. They probably.
Yeah, but then we'd have to know how to drive it, bud.
Yeah, well, we do.
We can't get it out in the middle of the track, get it destroyed.
But. Another thing that I thought was really cool last year was the dice roll. You guys, there was matching funds and a ton of money. I mean, you guys were on a roll with that.
Yeah, I saw what you did there. That's pretty good.
That's not bad for a PE teacher, I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, the dice roll hit a lot, way more than everybody was thinking it was going to.
Oh,
I'm trying to
absolutely.
quote the numbers. But I mean, it hit like 9 times, I think, or something like that, and it paid out like 50 grand or some crazy number. So yeah, it was a huge hit with the fans, and I hopefully one day we can get it to where it's like, you know, The Price is Right, where you call the guy's name and he comes running down.
Yeah, yeah.
With the music and everything, I think it's kind of cool. But yeah, it's definitely a part of the night that people really look forward to, and I honestly am still amazed that it hit that like it was hitting like every 5 races or something.
That was crazy, I thought. I knew I wasn't rolling the dice because I ain't gonna get that lucky.
Oh.
I almost bought tickets ahead though for Vegas just to give myself a chance to do the dice roll.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's a good promotion, man. I mean, you know, you can only be a part of the dice roll if you get the tickets online. You know, It's a good way to try and drive some sales. And you know, last year I think that it hit twice from 9th place. You know?
Yeah.
Some guy walked out with almost $5 grand. You
Yep.
know? So it was awesome. The drivers were really into it too. Even if they didn't win, you know, they know they're the dice roller and they're trying to get up there and win some money for the fans too. So it's definitely really cool, and we are definitely bringing it back this year.
So, but we didn't order them ahead of time yet because we don't know. One night we'll probably go in the pits, and we don't know what we're doing yet. So, and I'm not going to buy a ticket ahead of time. I don't know which night I'm going in the pits. So.
The other thing I thought was really worked out well was spinning the wheel. But did it get stolen or lost or something there for a little bit, or what happened there?
I don't
No?
Got wrecked.
Oh, got wrecked. Did
Got
something
damaged or
happen?
something?
Well, I think one of the nights, like there was like a rubber cover that goes around the edge of the wheel that flew off.
Okay.
I can't remember where that was at, but we didn't get the wheel until I think the fifth or sixth race maybe. But yeah, that was a huge hit. I mean, honestly, I feel like that was probably the thing out of every. You know, we had the playlist, we had the dice roll, we had the wheel spin, we had a little bit of different format with the QuickTime guy going forth, and you know, just all kinds of different stuff. But I feel like the wheel out of everything probably got the most positive feedback. You know, it was just, and the drivers really liked it too. You started to notice that everybody, you know, a guy would spin the wheel and he wouldn't go back to his pit. He'd be standing there watching, making sure he knew where he was lining up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, it is not much different from the I mean, it's the same thing. It's just way more
just a different way of doing it.
Yeah,
And you got the automatic pull if you get the 00.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know.
I mean, it goes with our brand, Highlander Racing. You know. Too,
Yep.
So,
Yep, you're spinning the roulette wheel or whatever.
You know, besides it being, you know, ginormous, that was the only complaint I got from all the Highlander employees. Besides it being huge, there was really nothing else wrong with it.
I could see that.
Yeah, it'd be tough on a 40-mile-an-hour wind night. Probably, you'd have to have somebody holding on to it.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah, they finally got into a rhythm about, I don't know, maybe 10 races into having it of putting it up and taking it down, because it takes like 3 people to put it together.
Oh, I'm sure.
and then you guys threw in the random question thing too from a fan.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yep, I forgot about that. You know, that's a cool thing too, because yeah, I mean, every other interview you hear is, well, how was the car, and you know, what happened in this? Like, you know, it's just great to hear some different questions, and there was a couple last year where we got some pretty good answers that made their appearance on, you know, social media. So, yeah, I like the fan questions. We're bringing that back again too. Just you know, trying to keep doing different things. So, and that's one of them.
Probably my least favorite of them all was the playlist thing, because it just made me realize that I don't keep up on all the new modern music.
Oh yeah, the playlist was usually the most controversial thing out of everything.
Sometimes it's like, I've never heard of this song. Oh, there's a good one.
Yeah.
That still made it fun. It just made me realize maybe I'm older than I think I am. Older than I act.
I just like it because, if we didn't have it and I had to play my own music, then I would be getting roasted every night.
Sure, there you go.
For the ones getting roasted at night.
Yeah. Yep. Then the driver's got to take the heat if somebody don't like their music.
Exactly. And they saw, I was texting Brent Marks the other day, and he said, man, I hope the fans like my playlist this year. Because they didn't like it last year.
I can't remember whose I liked and whose I didn't. But like I said, I only listen to two types of music basically, so. But going into you in the off season now, you've been awful busy with the old Raudman rundown this winter.
Yeah, we've, it's nice to have, something to keep me, busy. Obviously, high limit's my only job. I did do a UPS deal where I was a driver helper for about a month or so during the peak season. But the YouTube thing is good to keep me, in front of the camera and keep talking about sprint car racing and staying sharp and all that stuff, right? So that the YouTube channel has really taken off a lot quicker than I thought it would. It took me about a year to get 5,000 subscribers, which for a sprint car only channel, I feel like is pretty good in a short amount of time, especially with my format that I use with the whiteboard. It's not like a ton of editing and graphics and video stuff. It's much more simple. And people seem to have really liked it here, and I've got the magnets involved and everything, so it's gone pretty well. And I plan on doing that for the rest of the year as well, and just keep on going and keep building it. You see what Dirt Tracker does. He's got almost 50,000 subscribers on video, so maybe someday we'll make it there.
How many?
I'm one of each, so.
How many followers do you have to have before you start making some money off of YouTube?
Yeah, I think it was 1,000 subscribers, or no, maybe it was 500 subscribers, and then it's 3,000 watch hours. So people have to watch your content for 3,000 hours, and you have to have 5,000 or 500 subscribers. So, once you do that, and then you get access to a part of able to monetize. I think the first part is being able to have people pay you a monthly channel membership fee, and then you have to hit 1,000 subscribers, I think, and then you get the advertisement money. So it took a while. It took me probably I don't know. I was kind of in a different spot than maybe some other people where I already had kind of a following. People knew me from the Outlaws, right? So when I started, people knew who I was. It wasn't like I was starting from scratch. So it took me maybe I don't know, 6 months maybe to start making the ad revenue money maybe. And that was me putting out a video probably almost every day, Monday through Friday. So it definitely took a while, but now it's growing quicker than I was expecting. It seems like the more I do, the more people are checking it out and seeing what we got. So it's been fun.
Well, I've enjoyed it, and the fact and you're covering all the series and everything. You're covering sprint car racing in general. So we get to learn about everything that way, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's more my stuff's more stat based and stuff like that. And you're right. I'm not covering high limit. I do the Outlaws, and I just got all the magnets for the Power Eye series, and I'm doing everything for the All Stars, and I got a bunch of Pennsylvania guys on there too. So we cover everything on the channel. Breaking stories, with ride changes and things like that. Right now it's a little bit slow because there's not a ton of racing going on. It's tough to, and that's good while I'm doing these season previews for each of the drivers. So that fills in the gaps. So once the season gets going, we'll have plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
And I gotta ask, on an average show, how much time you got to put into it, researching all your different info and whatnot?
Yeah, some of them are different than others, obviously. These season preview ones, last year at the end of the season, I did a bunch of season in reviews, so that took forever to compile all the different stats for all the guys. So the previews are a little bit easier because I've got all those numbers from last year, but it probably still takes me, to write the board and get all the stats and out. Probably about an hour and a half on those ones, but there's some where, it takes, maybe 3 hours to really get everything for the super in-depth videos for different stats. So, and luckily I got, sprintcarratings.com is huge to help out with that. Dirt Tracker and his analytics section is huge. Thirdturn.com helps out a lot. So without those websites, it would be much, much tougher.
Yeah.
That's way more than the 3 minutes we put in to get a show ready, bud. Well, it probably takes us longer to get somebody talked into coming on.
Well, this is how I prepare for this show. I'm stealing his stuff to talk about his stuff. So you did like 10 storylines for the High Limit. And since, you're announcer for the High Limit, I figured we should talk mainly about the High Limit. You talked about new crew chief for Casey Kane and Brad Sweet. How do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different. I feel like it's a pretty monumental change. The guy that's dominated the last 6 years between the Outlaws and High Limit to get a new crew chief for the first time during that time span is certainly a huge storyline. But, you got to remember also that, Casey's going to be on the tour as well, and they're going to be headed to each other. So it's not like, Eric Pressman's not going to be within 5 feet away. And if something goes wrong or they're off a little bit here and there, they have a couple bad runs in a row, he can come over and maybe look at things and get them dialed back in. But I still think that there's going to be some growing pains. I mean, they ran well at Volusia with the Outlaws. I mean, top 5 every night. They had a flat tire on the final night, running around 10th or so. But I think that they're still going to be fast. But it's going to be much different with the dynamic between those two. I mean, Eric, I feel like, is more of a kind of a quieter guy, doesn't really get too crazy when things go wrong or whatever. I think Ty is different in that aspect of things. When things go wrong, he's not going to be quite as patient and quiet about them. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's definitely a huge storyline going in, and maybe we'll see a different champion this year. Maybe Brad Sweet will finally get beaten by somebody. And I can't think of a better year, so to say, for it to happen than this year when you got such a big change in the organization.
Yeah. I just think it maybe would have been a bigger story if Casey Kane would have stayed part-time.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, I 100% agree because Eric wouldn't be there all the time, and Ty would really have to figure it out himself and not have that that safety net of Eric. Well, Eric, hey, I don't know what to do here. Come over and check this out. So yeah, I think it would definitely be a way bigger storyline if Casey wasn't coming back, but also at the same time, I think that this is going to be a really good year for Casey. I posted I put something I think on my YouTube the other day about I think Casey has a chance to win a race this year with Eric. They were good last year at the end of the season at World Finals together, top 5 there. That's a really good field of cars for him to run top 5. And this could be the best chance that Casey's had to finally win one of these national sprint car races.
I gotta give a quick shout out to my Aunt Becky. She's watching. I didn't know she liked racing, but she's been watching.
She likes you, too. She likes you.
That's what I just had to throw that out there for. Hi, Becky.
I'm not going to hit all 10 of yours. Aaron Reitzel back on tour. Obviously, one of his sponsors is Fulkins Brothers here from Leicester.
John's watching too.
The big metropolis of Leicester, all less than 300 of us. But in talking with John, and we had Aaron Reitzel on here 2 weeks ago, and
he's excited about it.
He's in the right mindset again, and I tell you what, he could be as good as what you think he is.
Yeah, I mean, when he won at Port Royal last year, you would have thought that High Limit was paying him to talk good about him. He loved everything that High Limit was doing. He thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I kind of heard towards the end of the season that this was probably going to happen, that he was going to be, coming in and taking over the spot that Corey had last year.
Yep.
And I mean, I haven't heard that interview that you guys are talking about, but if you're telling me that he's excited and ready to go, I mean, that makes me think even more that he's going to be winning a bunch of races. I think I put on my thing the other day that I think he could win between 4 and 6 races, and that's on the low side. He really gets going. Out of all of the High Limit drivers, he's won at the most tracks that the series goes to this year. Coming up, so he's going to be super, super good, underrated addition to the field, and people are kind of, I feel like they're kind of taking him lightly and not really thinking about him as much of a threat, really. Yeah,
well, let's just say this. He's always told us no for interviews. He's not necessarily an interview guy. And he when I reached out to him, he said, right away, he responded with, when are you thinking? And we set up a date. And he was funny on the podcast. He was loose. I just think he's going to have a great year.
I think he's ready to go. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know, when I was working for the Outlaws, he was kind of the same way with the interview thing. Didn't really care about it. Didn't want to do it. You know, I've been texting him here quite a bit recently, trying to get his playlist and everything dialed in, and he seems excited about it. So, yeah, I'm super pumped to see how he goes. Hopefully, people will be nicer to him. You know, everything that happened was a long time ago, this and that. You know, so I'm hoping he has just a solid year, stays out of the spotlight for all the wrong reasons, and is in the spotlight for all the right reasons. You know, and shows that he is a guy that should. I mean, he should have been on the Outlaw Tour or High Limit Tour for the last 4 years. I mean, he's that good.
Yeah.
But like he's in the right mindset right now, and he could be a huge threat. I mean, I saw some guy comment on my video the other day and said they think he's going to run second in points. I mean, I think that'd be pretty crazy if he did, but I wouldn't be surprised, man. All the champions before, and he's shown that he can be really consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Rookies. I think we need to talk about the rookies. You got a great class coming through. One of them just responded, and I think we're going to have him on next week. I think we're going to have the other Chase Randall, on next week. So, you know, you got a great group of rookies.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And my thing is that I honestly, it's hard to try and put them in order of where they're going to finish at. You know, if I had to guess, I think that Chase Randall is going to be the Rookie of the Year, but at the same time, like I feel like you can make an argument for every guy as to why he could win and why he couldn't win. I think Persley, I think that, you know, in 2 years he could in 2 years, Jason Persley could have the most wins on the national tour compared to those other three. I think he's that good. He just doesn't have that much experience right now. But yeah, for me, Chase Randall is, I guess, just barely ahead of the rest of them to win the Rookie of the Year. But Danny Sams, I mean, he was super fast at Volusia. He's got really good motors coming in off of his best season of his career. And then you got Cy Lynch, man. He's going to be a guy to watch for too. You know, obviously we haven't seen him travel a whole lot outside of his kind of area in Western PA. Of course, he's been in Knoxville, Eldora, you know, those types of places. But you know, we're going to be seeing him going to a bunch of new racetracks, and he's got a bunch of new sponsors, new crew help this year, and stuff like that. So it's the rookie battle might be one of the best to watch for as far as storylines go all year, really.
Yeah, because Persley, he's obviously got the least amount of starts in a wing car.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, he's got less than 30 wing car starts in his whole career. I mean, I think it's like 25 or 26 maybe he's got. So, and I've been doing these videos here recently, and I think that Jason, Danny Sams, I think Cy, all three of those guys are going to at least 20 new tracks this year. So, they're going to have to really figure things out quick. I think Randall might be in the mix as far as that goes too. I just don't remember.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. You know, and then that's, you know, every track is different. I mean, hell, just as you travel across the country, the dirt changes color, so you know it's different.
Yeah, and they don't have a book on it, you know, so, but, yeah. I'm going to skip over the charter questions because I personally don't even understand the whole charter thing, so, but...
Yeah, me neither.
A bunch of new guys in old cars, you know, like Spencer in the Corey Day car, and, you know, I just think there's going to be some interesting, you know, how well do they mesh?
Yeah, for sure, and I'm hoping that I can just say who's in the right car. I already screwed up on one of my videos saying that Zeb Wise was in the 26, so, yeah, I mean, you know, we've seen a couple of them. I think we've probably seen them all race by now, the new guys in their new cars.
Yeah.
Brenham Crouch in the 5, Persley in the 13, Basin 14, Peck in the 26. I think that's it, I think.
That's what, yeah.
I think that Peck is going to be super good. He's already started off so strong. A couple top 5s last year, World Finals, got those 3 wins at Volusia with the 360. And then, you know, had a couple top 10s at Volusia as well. So I think out of the 4 guys that we're talking about with their new cars and whatnot, I think Peck's probably going to have the most success this year. But I did make a video today about Spencer, And I think that if he can get a win early and get that confidence back into him like we saw he had in like 22 and 23, he could definitely be a guy that wins quite a few races this year. Obviously, we know the team and the crew chief on that 14, they can win races in bunches. And so we'll see what Spencer can do, but this is definitely a big year for him to prove that he can still get the job done.
No.
Yeah, for those again that ain't recognizing the voice, we got Chase Raudman on with us today. And just so you know, if you screw up who's in what car at some point, nobody in Hoagie's garage is going to care because we screw them up on a regular basis ourselves. So
Except for my brother Jerry. He's
except
pretty
for
good
Jerry,
at
we
it.
keep him here to keep us the
I
rest of
was
us in line.
quizzing him the other day on stuff, and by God, he was guessing everything right. That son of a gun. You're going to some new areas, some new tracks, new area.
Yeah, Wisconsin probably the biggest one that, there's just such a huge fan base of sprint car fans in that area. And it's been dominated by the Outlaws, as far as national sprint car skills for a really, really long time. It's an outlaw area, but, we're finally breaking in. I remember when the schedule came out last year, people were just in an outrage that High Level wasn't going to Wisconsin. So it's great that we're going. I honestly have no idea what to expect at those two tracks. Every preview that I've done so far, not a single driver has been to either of them. So it's going to be a really big surprise as to what happens. And they're both midweek series races too. So you know that Larson probably going to be there too to mix things up. So yeah, looking forward to getting to Wisconsin. Where else? We got Arizona. It's been a long time since any type of 410 racing has happened besides non-wing stuff in Arizona. So hopefully the fans come out and support that 2-day show at Central Arizona Speedway. I think they will, just because it's been so deprived of this type of racing for many, many years now.
And that's like third weekend, right?
Yeah, that'll be a big weekend. And then, going to New Mexico, they've got a really great track there with Vado Speedway Park. That's got a lot of late model racing here over the last couple of years.
Yep.
So, we'll see how it goes over there. Vado, going to Paris. Got a bunch of new racetracks that we're going to. So it's going to be a fun year. I'm glad that it's not the same exact schedule again. I think that's a fun part about High Limit. It's going, like last year, one of my favorite parts was going to all these tracks that nobody had ever heard of, the drivers included, and not knowing what to expect, and then having really good races.
Yep.
So see that more this year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't know who's going to hit the setup right. It could be any one of them. They're all going to be fast.
Yeah, I mean that section last year when we went through like Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas area, that set of races, like there was like, I don't think anybody had been to all those tracks. There was like one guy that's been to two, and two guys have been to one of them. Like it was just so nobody knew what to expect. That RPM track was really good. The Southern Oklahoma, Salina Highlands. It was just a mixed bag of tracks, and it kept everybody on their toes, and it made for some exciting racing because nobody really knew what to expect.
No. And I just hope the fans out there are going to realize that we're in one of the high points in dirt track racing right now. And a person's got to get out and enjoy it as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Cause,
Yeah, no doubt. I can't think of I'm only, I'm 30, I guess that's pretty old at this point, but compared to, from when I've been in the sport, I can't think of a better time as a fan than right now. There's just a lot going on. 28 drivers are full-time going across the country.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty good.
yeah, I don't know if they've ever had that many. That I don't have no numbers, but
Yeah.
I mean, people they got to get out, go to the tracks, support the tracks, keep this going because it's a blast.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we just had Ryan Timms on, and he's gonna be in Vegas, and he's kind of gonna do that whole.
You're gonna do the California swing for sure.
Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun for him. He's had a great start to the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to have a breakout year for sure. With the speed they've already shown and the speed they showed at the end of the last year, I mean, they were one of the fastest cars in the country at the end of 2024. So,
Yep.
They're fourth in outlaw points right now.
Yeah.
After Volusia, so that's pretty crazy. And I was texting with his car owner Shane the other day, and he kind of told me that he'd never been to Volusia, never even seen it before, and they went down there and gave Ryan a really good car, and he was able to pass a ton of cars that entire week. So yeah, I think that they're going to win at least 2 races this year between either 2 outlaw races or 1 and 1 or whatever it is.
Yep.
He's in for a really, really big year. I think he's going to dominate at Huset's because they're running there weekly. So I'm excited that he's going to run the first, I don't know, he took the first 10 or so races maybe with High Limit.
Yep.
At Vegas and his California shows, Arizona, all that stuff. He's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
That he will be.
What are you personally looking forward to the most for this season?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, probably all the big races again. I think that there at the end of last season, it felt like we were every single weekend we were having a big race.
Yeah.
From Gold Cup to a week later we went to the Skagit Nationals. A week later we were at Port Royal for the 57,000 in. A week later we were 50,000 to win at Lernerville, and like 2 weeks later 50,000 wins. I mean, it was like crazy amount of big time races, and that's one of the fun things about High Limit. It's like almost every other weekend is some kind of big race, and so looking forward to seeing who's able to win those, and honestly just looking forward to seeing sprint car racing grow in popularity is what I'm looking forward to the most. I feel like it's getting more and more popular every single year, and with Christopher Bell coming back and racing quite a bit. Obviously, we know Larson's been doing the Corey Day effect, him going to NASCAR, come back racing sprint cars. I think it's just going to get more and more popular.
Yep.
And that's all I care about, man, is I want to see this sport be where it belongs. I think we have the best racing on the planet, bar none, every single night. These guys are, it's not like these cars are driving themselves, man. They manhandle the car around. It's not like they're just kind of out there on a Sunday cruise, So I think people need to, I get tired of seeing all the comments on everything saying, dirt track race, and that's where the hillbillies are at. It's like, come to a race and tell me there's a hillbilly running a 410 sprint car at Eldora. I mean, come on.
There might be a bunch of us hillbillies watching, but
we're having fun doing it.
I guarantee you the guys racing are as good at athletes as anybody else out there. So
they're in better shape than you and me, bud. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
And me.
I can't do 20 laps. We try to do 20 laps go-karting, and we get done, we can't feel our arms. What are these guys feeling? So,
at 100 plus miles an hour, we're running 15 to 20 or whatever on the go-kart track,
Oh,
But it was fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun doing it.
Absolutely.
But no, like I said earlier too, I'm really looking forward to the year. I think there's going to be a ton of good racing throughout the whole country. I mean, Pennsylvania's pretty loaded up this year with the guys running the pick and choose schedules. The Outlaws, the High Limits got full fields.
Houston's is going to be full.
Houston's is going to be fun. The Power I, the All Stars. There's different. We ain't going to be able to watch them all. I can tell you that. But it's going to be a lot of fun trying.
No way. There's no way you'll be able to watch it all. There's going to be at least a couple Saturdays where every series is running. And you have to go back and watch the highlight reels to catch it.
Yep.
Yeah. I remembered what I was going to say.
Uh-oh.
I think, you guys have set a really good example about how quick some of your races have been.
Especially the midweek shows.
I think, the people that watch NASCAR, I can't do 3 or 4 hours on a Sunday. I watch it for a little bit, and I maybe try and catch the end, and I really like Kyle Larson and some of the other guys, but I just can't watch that long. High Limits, you guys were getting races done in like 2 hours or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, and that's one thing that, we're really, really focused on. We were focused on it last year, but focused on it again this year, is trying to get people in and out of there in a good amount of time, right? Brad's whole thing and Mike's whole thing is, you go to a football game or a NHL game or a basketball game or whatever, you're not there for more than 3 hours, People's attention span getting lower and lower every single year, it seems like. So if we can keep our races between 2.5 to 3 hours, I feel like that's pretty good. That's like going to a sporting event and being entertained for that long. We make it quick. We, hardly ever have support classes. There's not a whole lot of, downtime where we're messing around and doing stuff that don't make any sense. Brian Walker, who's the social media guy for High Limit, he was keeping track of like our average show run time where we went green on the first hot lap section of the checkered flag. And I want to say we were like 30 minutes, like on average, we were 30 minutes faster than what the Outlaws were running every night. So,
Yeah.
Which might not sound like a lot, but that's the average.
Yeah.
You know? So there was nights where we were an hour faster or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So it's got to be like that. I mean,
Yeah. Especially the midweek shows. You know, because people got to get up for work the next morning, whatever. And
absolutely. You got to make those ones extremely fast. But I just think overall, I mean, if you can tell a fan, hey, you know, you can show up at 7:30 for the heats and you can leave by 9. I mean, I feel like that's good. You know, that's a good selling point. But people their time is very precious these days. You know, they got a lot going on and a lot of different ways to be entertained. And if we can, you know, try and keep them there for a short amount of time, but also give them entertaining time, I think that's going to be a big win.
see, but then at the same token, when the race gets over, we need to go home. But we never go home. But
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. But that's what it allows. It allows for guys like us to go down and talk to them and just see everything that's going on down there. I mean, that's not as good as the races, but it's dang near as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that, you know, on the NASCAR side of things too, right? I mean, you cannot get the access to drivers and cars and teams that you can in a sprint car race. I mean, you could literally just go down to the pits after the race and shake your favorite driver's hand, get his autograph. Like, to do that in NASCAR, you got to go through the FBI and have, you know, 17 different passes and, you know, go through a metal detector and everything. I mean, it ain't the same, that's for sure.
No, I agree. So.
No, before I forget or we let you go here, because I think we're about to wrap this up. You can warn Tony that I'll be looking for him in Vegas, so we got to get him on our show. So you can give him a little heads up that some dude from Iowa is going to be trying to find him and talk to him.
Warn him. Tell him to run.
I'll let him know. You know, he's obviously an easy guy to spot. So, I mean, have you tried contacting him? Have you guys tried to?
No, we're not that far. We figure I'll see him out there.
Yeah, that works. Make sure you get him one of your guys' shirts, man. I wear mine all the time.
That's good. That's good. Represent.
I don't know if we got any right now. It's a problem. Might have to see if we can get one for him when we get to Port Royal in the next month or so.
Yep.
There you go.
So, the people that are on Facebook Live, I'm gonna give you a little tour of our garage. So don't leave when we ended here with Shane. I thought I should, or with Shane. What the heck am I saying? With Chase. So, Chase, thanks so much for being on. We really appreciate your time. You know, I think it's just going to be another amazing year for High Limit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I think it's going to be a great year for High Limit. It's going to be a great year in general for sprint car racing. I really do. It's going to be the biggest year we've ever seen. So, looking forward to seeing how it all plays out, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you guys somewhere down the line, right?
Hopefully.
Absolutely. So.
All right, you take care and drive safe or travel safe throughout the summer.
All right, guys. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Better say hi to Rick. Rick Fritz is watching too.
Is he?
Yep.
All right. All right. A little sideways here. I'm going to start. Yeah, I got cars in here, so. But that's, I believe, it's either the 99th or the 100th.
I think it's the 100th
running of the Indy 500. It's all 33 cars, and most of them are signed, thanks to my brother Dean and his son Ryan. But that's all 33 cars of the Indy 500. We have some Aaron Reitzel stuff, obviously, because of Fulkins Brothers. We have his Ohio. If we go up on the wall, there's some shirts, some racetracks that we've been to. We're trying to keep better track of the different tracks we go to, and we're trying to get. But yeah, pretty much took a bunch of our shirts. We figured we might as well decorate them. So our garage is full of shirts. That's only part of them. Then we got some sprint cars up here. I should turn the lights on. We have fancy lights that go underneath them if Toad can find the remote quick.
And then know how to run it.
Oh, there we are. So normally we have lights off. We have a different track of lights.
Mood lights.
Yeah, mood lights. And then, gotta mention, I took some stuff. My mom and dad both have passed away, so we have some memory of them.
Got our Kaiser racing wheel.
So we'll have to get something in here for your dad, Toad. Well, we do have one picture of him, but
We got his truck in a lot of them.
yeah, these are all pictures. Toad's push truck, obviously, is that brown flatbed push truck called the propane pusher. He's at Huset's all the time. We got 3 TVs. We watch races all the time. The year Kyle Larson won the King's Royal, he won Knoxville, he won the NASCAR championship, all in the same year. Someday we'll get Kyle in here to sign them all. That's funny. I thought
Hey,
that
dream
was
the
good.
dream, bud.
So yeah, that's picture of Paul Seville, his crew
Silva.
chief. Paul Silva, Jesus. So we just happened to wear the same Hoagie's Garage.
Was not planned.
My brother Joe's not in that pick. He decided not to come down that last year. So, but yeah, I don't know. We have little pictures. Yeah, but that's
We got
kind of a
stuff. We're
rundown.
running out of room.
This is Ann Spots, Tob's wife. She sits here on the recliner, power recliner, and watches the races. Here's our bar. So we just sit right back here.
Too bad it's
and
dark out. We could have showed them our shed
watch races.
outside.
I bought these at an auction. Anybody that's looking for a steel tiller, I got 2 of them for sale. So, leave comments. Have a great week.